Some trees grow so tall they vanish into the clouds. Others were already ancient before the pyramids were built. These living giants have outlasted empires, survived fire, drought, and thousands of years of history, and they're still standing. Today, we'll meet the most extraordinary trees our planet has ever grown. Number 25. Temple Root Tree. This is what happens when a tree starts taking over a temple. At Ta Prohm in Cambodia, giant roots pour over ancient stone like they are trying to pull the building back into the jungle. They grip doorways, crawl down walls, wrap around towers, and slide into cracks between heavy blocks. It looks like the tree and the temple have been locked together for hundreds of years. Ta Prohm is part of the Angkor complex, one of the most important ancient sites in Southeast Asia. The temple was built in the time of the Khmer Empire, but what makes it unforgettable today is the way the jungle still has a grip on it. The famous roots come from huge trees like silk cotton trees and strangler figs. Some roots are thick, smooth, and heavy, spreading over the stone like giant arms. Others are thinner and tighter, crawling across the ruins until they look like they are stitched into the walls. Removing them carelessly could damage the temple. Leaving them alone could damage it too. Number 24. Lake Kandy Underwater Forest. This lake has a forest standing inside it. At Lake Kandy in Kazakhstan, bare tree trunks rise straight out of clear blue-green water. At first, they look like old poles sticking up from the surface, but under the water, the story gets stranger. The trunks stretch down into the lake, where an ancient spruce forest still stands underwater. The trees grew there before the lake existed. Lake Kandy sits in the Tian Shan Mountains, in a cold, high valley surrounded by steep slopes and forest. A powerful earthquake triggered a landslide that blocked the valley and created a natural dam. Water filled the space behind it, and the forest was swallowed. The submerged trees are Shrink's spruce. Cold mountain water helped preserve the trunks, so they did not simply rot away and vanish. Number 23. Curtain Fig Tree. At first glance, this tree looks like a waterfall made of roots. The curtain fig tree in Queensland, Australia does not look like one normal tree. It looks like a wall of roots hanging from the sky. Long, thick roots fall from high above and reach all the way down to the forest floor, forming a huge living curtain that surrounds the trunk. Its story began with a fig seed dropped high in another tree. From there, the young fig started growing downward. Its roots reached for the ground, wrapped around the host tree, and grew stronger over time. Then the host tree fell into a nearby tree, pulling the fig into a strange angle. Instead of growing into a normal shape, the fig kept sending roots down from that tilted position. That is how the famous curtain formed. The roots drop about 49 feet to the ground. The tree is believed to be more than 500 years old, and it rises high above the forest with a trunk and root system so wide it feels more like a living wall than a single tree. Number 22. Rainbow Eucalyptus. This tree looks like someone painted it, but the colors are completely natural. The rainbow eucalyptus does not need flowers to stand out. Its trunk is the show. Long strips of bark peel away and reveal bright layers underneath, with streaks of green, orange, red, gray, purple, and brown running down the tree. From far away, it can look edited. Up close, it looks even stranger, because the colors are part of the living bark. The effect happens as the outer bark sheds in patches. Fresh bark starts with brighter tones, then slowly changes color as it ages. That is why the trunk can look different from one section to another, almost like the tree is repainting itself in slow motion. This is not a small decorative tree either. In the right tropical places, rainbow eucalyptus can grow into a tall forest tree, reaching well over 100 feet. It grows naturally in wet tropical regions, including parts of the Philippines, Indonesia, and Papua New Guinea. Number 21. Dead Vley Trees. These trees have been dead for hundreds of years, but the desert still refuses to let them disappear. In Dead Vley, Namibia, black tree skeletons stand on a flat white clay floor, surrounded by huge red dunes and an open blue sky. The whole place looks unreal, almost like a painting with only a few strong colors. The trees look burned, frozen, and placed there on purpose, but they are real, and they are still standing exactly where they once grew. Long ago, water from the Sao Chab River reached this area and allowed camel thorn trees to grow. Then the desert changed. Sand dunes blocked the water from coming in, the clay pan dried out, and the trees slowly died. But they did not rot away. Dead vley is so dry that the wood could not break down the way dead trees normally do. The sun scorched the trunks until they turned black, but the dry air preserved them. Some of these dead camel thorn trees are believed to have stood there for around 600 to 700 years. Number 20. Dragon's blood tree. This tree looks like an alien umbrella, and when it is cut, it bleeds red. On Socotra, an island off Yemen, the dragon's blood tree stands on dry, rocky ground with a shape that does not look normal at all. Its trunk rises up, then splits again and again until the branches form a wide, flat crown above it. From a distance, it looks like a giant umbrella planted in the desert. That strange shape is not just for looks. Socotra can be hot, dry, and harsh, so the tree has to fight for moisture. Its wide crown helps catch mist and light rain from the air, then guides that moisture down toward the roots. The thick shade under the crown also helps protect the ground from drying out too quickly. But the part that made this tree famous is the red sap inside it. When the bark is cut, a dark red liquid comes out, and that is where the name dragon's blood comes from. For centuries, people valued this red sap as a dye, a medicine, and a material used in trade. Number 19. Kalaloch Tree of Life, Washington. This tree should have fallen a long time ago. On Kalaloch Beach in Washington, a Sitka spruce hangs between two eroded bluffs with almost nothing under it. The soil beneath the tree has been carved away, leaving its roots stretched over an open gap. From below, it looks like the tree is holding itself in the air by sheer stubbornness. The place is also called the Tree Root Cave, because the space under the roots looks like a small cave cut through the bluff. Waves, storms, rain, and runoff have slowly taken the land away. Most trees need soil packed around their roots to stay safe and upright. This one has much of its root system exposed to open air, yet it still stands above the beach. The coast keeps changing around it, and the tree may not survive forever. Its branches have shown signs of decline, and the erosion beneath it continues. But that only makes the site more powerful. Number 18. Pando, Utah. This looks like a normal forest, but it is actually one tree. In Fish Lake National Forest in Utah, thousands of pale aspen trunks rise from the ground like a regular grove. If you walked through it, you might think each trunk was a separate tree. But beneath the soil, they are all connected. They grow from the same massive root system, making Pando one of the most remarkable living things on Earth. The name Pando means "I spread," and that is exactly what it does. Instead of living as one single trunk, it spreads underground and sends up new stems from its roots. Those stems look like individual trees, but they are part of the same living organism. The scale is hard to take in. Pando covers about 106 acres. It has more than 40,000 visible stems. Its full body is believed to weigh nearly 13 million pounds. Its exact age is hard to prove because old stems die while new ones grow. But the root system may have started near the end of the last ice age, which means the organism could be thousands of years old. And even something this huge is not safe forever. Deer and other animals eat many of the young shoots before they can grow. Insects, disease, root problems, and changing conditions also threaten it. Number 17. Sandbox Tree. This tree is covered in spikes, filled with poisonous sap, and its fruit can explode. Its trunk is packed with sharp, dark spikes from top to bottom, giving it the kind of bark you would never want to touch. That alone makes it one of the strangest-looking trees in the tropical forest. It is sometimes called monkey no climb, and the nickname makes sense the moment you see it. The spikes turn the trunk into a natural warning sign, but the bark is only the beginning. Inside the tree is a toxic sap that can irritate skin and eyes. Its leaves, bark, and seeds are also poisonous, so this is not just a strange-looking plant. It is a tree built with real defenses. Then comes the wildest part. The fruit grows in hard, round capsules. When the fruit ripens, it can burst apart with a loud crack and throw seeds away from the tree. Those seeds can fly at incredible speed, fast enough to make the whole tree feel like a living seed launcher. Number 16. Crooked Forest. In this Polish forest, the trees bend like someone shaped them by hand. The Crooked Forest near Grafino, Poland, is filled with pine trees that all seem to make the same strange move. Each trunk rises from the ground, bends sharply sideways near the base, then curves back upward and continues growing like a normal tree. One bent tree could be explained easily, but here the pattern repeats again and again. Tree after tree has that same low curve, and most of them bend in a similar direction. That is what makes the place so strange. It does not look random, it looks planned. The forest contains more than 100 curved pines today, though older records suggest there may once have been many more. The trees were planted in rows, and that has led many people to believe humans had something to do with their shape, but no one knows the answer for sure. Some say the trees were damaged when they were young. Others believe they were deliberately shaped to make curved wood for furniture, boats, sleighs, or other tools. Another theory says heavy equipment or wartime damage may have bent them. None of these explanations has been fully proven. Number 15. Socotra Desert Rose. This tree looks like a giant bottle with flowers growing out of it. The Socotra Desert Rose grows on the island of Socotra, where the dry, rocky landscape already looks unusual. But this tree still manages to stand out. Its trunk is swollen, thick, and smooth, almost like it has been inflated. Then, from that heavy body, short branches grow out and carry bright pink flowers. That contrast is what makes it so strange. The bottom looks tough, heavy, and built for survival. The top looks soft and colorful. The swollen trunk is not just for appearance, it helps the tree store water, which is one reason it can survive in such dry conditions. In a place where rain can be limited and the ground can be harsh, the tree uses its body like a natural tank. Number 14. Arbol del Tule. This tree's trunk is so wide it barely looks like one tree. Arbol del Tule stands in Santa Maria del Tule, Oaxaca, Mexico, and the first thing you notice is not its height, it is the width. The trunk spreads so far across the ground that it looks more like a living wall than a normal tree. Its bark folds, twists, and bulges in every direction. From some angles, it almost looks like several trees grew together into one huge body. But this is one tree. It is a Montezuma cypress, also called an ahuehuete, and it is famous for having one of the widest known trunks on Earth. The trunk measures more than 130 feet around, so a small group of people standing beside it can look almost invisible. The base is so massive and uneven that your eyes struggle to follow where one side ends and the other begins. Its age is also remarkable. Careful estimates place it at around 1,400 to 1,600 years old. That means this tree was already ancient before many modern cities even existed. Number 13. Caddo Lake Bald Cypress Trees. These trees look like they are growing out of a flooded ghost world. At Caddo Lake, bald cypress trees rise straight from dark water, with long gray Spanish moss hanging from their branches. Boats move between the trunks through narrow paths, and the reflections make the swamp feel even deeper than it is. Caddo Lake sits along the Texas and Louisiana border, and its wetland system covers more than 25,000 acres. The lake is full of shallow water, bayous, cypress swamps, and hidden passages where the trees seem to close in around you. The bald cypress trees are built for this kind of place. They can grow in wet, flooded ground where many other trees would struggle. Their trunks stand in the water, while their branches stretch over the surface and hold curtains of moss that make the whole scene look older, darker, and almost unreal. Number 12. Avenue of the Baobabs. This road in Madagascar looks like it was built through a land of giants. Near Morondava, in western Madagascar, huge baobab trees rise on both sides of a dirt road like ancient towers. Cars, bicycles, and people look tiny beneath them. The trunks are tall, smooth, and massive, with branches sitting high above the road like roots reaching into the sky. These are mostly Grandidier's baobabs, one of the most famous tree species in Madagascar. Some can grow close to 100 feet tall, but their real power is not just height. It is the shape. Their trunks look thick, clean, and almost too perfect, like giant columns planted across the landscape. The Avenue of the Baobabs is not a normal forest anymore. It is what remains after much of the surrounding woodland was cleared over time. That is why the trees look so exposed and dramatic. They stand alone in open land, making the whole road feel like it passes through the remains of a lost world. At sunrise and sunset, the scene becomes even stronger. The trunks turn into dark silhouettes, and the sky behind them makes their size feel even more unreal. Number 11. Slope Point Windswept Trees, New Zealand. These trees look like the wind hit them once and never stopped. At Slope Point on the southern end of New Zealand's South Island, the trees do not grow straight. They lean hard in one direction with their trunks and branches pushed sideways like the whole landscape is being dragged by the wind. The place is exposed to the Southern Ocean with open water, rough weather, and very little protection. Over time, the trees grow in the only direction the wind allows. Their branches stretch away from the strongest gusts, creating that famous slanted shape. Number 10. Great Banyan Tree. This looks like a forest, but it is one tree. The Great Banyan in India is so wide that when you first see it, your brain does not treat it like a single tree. It looks like a whole grove. There are trunks everywhere, branches spreading in every direction, and shaded paths running beneath a giant green roof. But most of those trunks are not separate trees. They are aerial roots from one banyan. The branches send roots down toward the ground, and once those roots touch the soil, they thicken into strong supports. Over time, the tree keeps spreading outward, using its own roots like pillars to hold up its growing canopy. The wildest part is that the original main trunk is gone. After storms and disease damaged it, the old central trunk had to be removed in 1925. For most trees, that would be the end. But this one kept living through its huge network of branches and prop roots. Today, it covers around 4.5 acres, with more than 4,000 roots reaching the ground. Its crown stretches more than 1,500 feet around, and its highest branches rise about 80 feet. Number 9. Walking Palm. This palm tree looks like it could stand up and walk away. The walking palm does not grow like most trees. Instead of sitting flat in the ground, its trunk is lifted above the forest floor by long, stilt roots. Those roots spread out like thin wooden legs, holding the tree up in a strange cone shape. That is why people gave it the name walking palm. There is a popular story that the tree slowly moves across the forest by growing new roots toward better light and letting old roots die. Its stilt roots help support the trunk in the crowded rainforest, where every plant is fighting for light and space. Number 8. General Grant Giant Sequoia. This tree is so huge that the United States treats it like a living monument. General Grant stands in Kings Canyon National Park, and the first thing that hits you is the size of its trunk. A person at the base looks tiny. The bark rises like a wall, and the top is so high above you that the tree feels more like a tower than a plant. It stands about 268 feet tall. Around the ground, its trunk measures about 107 feet. By trunk volume, it is known as the second largest tree in the world, and that does not even count the branches, leaves, or roots. But General Grant is not famous only because it is massive. It is also called the nation's Christmas tree, a title given to it because of what it came to represent. It is even recognized as the only living national shrine in the United States, honoring those who died in service to the country. Number 7. Hong Kong Stone Wall Trees. In Hong Kong, some trees do not grow from the ground. They grow straight out of stone walls. Across the city, huge tree roots crawl over old stone walls like they are gripping the buildings themselves. Some of these trees hang above busy roads, stairways, shops, and sidewalks, with their trunks and branches rising from cracks in the wall instead of open soil. In a city packed with towers, traffic, and concrete, they look completely out of place. The reason they exist goes back to Hong Kong's steep hills. As the city grew from the 1840s onward, people built stone retaining walls to hold back slopes and make space for roads and buildings. Those walls had gaps, joints, and tiny pockets where dust, soil, and water could collect. Seeds landed there, and some trees found a way to survive. Many of the strongest stone wall trees are fig-type trees. Their roots can squeeze into narrow cracks, spread across stone, and search for moisture. Over time, those roots become thick enough to look like veins running down the wall. But these trees are not just beautiful. They are also risky. Old stone walls were never built to carry full-grown trees, and storms can make weak trees dangerous. Number 6. Chêne d'Allouville, France. There is a living oak tree in France with 2 chapels built inside its trunk. The Chêne d'Allouville stands in the village of Allouville-Bellefosse in Normandy, and from the outside it already looks ancient. Its trunk is thick, rough, and hollowed with age. But the real shock comes when you realize people do not just stand beside this tree. They can step inside it. For more than 1,000 years, this oak has kept standing while the village around it changed. It is often called the oldest oak in France, but age alone is not what makes it unforgettable. Since 1696, its hollow trunk has held 2 small chapels, one above the other. One chapel is dedicated to Our Lady of Peace. The other is known as the hermit chamber. A staircase wraps around the outside of the trunk, leading visitors up into the tree itself. It feels almost impossible because the same trunk that holds those chapels is still part of a living oak. Number 5. Boab Prison Tree, Australia. This tree is so huge and hollow, it looks like someone carved a room into the middle of a living giant. Near Derby in Western Australia, this giant boab stands with a swollen trunk that looks more like a stone tower than a normal tree. Its body is massive, round, and rough, with an opening in the bark that reveals the hollow space inside. From the outside, it looks like a tree big enough to hold a room. For a long time, people repeated the story that this hollow boab was used as a temporary lockup for Aboriginal prisoners on the way to Derby. Modern research has questioned the claim. Even without that story, the tree is still incredible. Its trunk measures more than 46 feet around, and old boabs often become hollow when the soft inner tissue dies away while the outside keeps living. The Boab prison tree is believed to be extremely old, with recent research suggesting an age of around 1,250 years. Number 4. Dark hedges. This road looks like the trees are closing over it. The dark hedges in Northern Ireland is a road lined with old beech trees, and their branches twist over the path until the whole place feels like a tunnel. The trunks lean inward from both sides, the branches cross above the road, and the light slips through in broken patches. Even in daylight, it has a strange dark mood. The trees were planted in the 18th century by the Stuart family as an entrance to Grace Hill House. The idea was simple. Visitors should be impressed before they even reach the mansion. More than 200 years later, that entrance has become more famous than the house itself. The place became even more famous after appearing as the King's Road in Game of Thrones. Number 3. Methuselah. This tree was already ancient before the Roman Empire existed. Methuselah is a Great Basin bristlecone pine growing high in the White Mountains of eastern California. It does not look like a giant. It does not have a perfect shape. Its trunk is twisted, rough, and partly dead-looking, with branches shaped by wind, cold, and time. But that worn-out look is the reason it has survived for so long. Methuselah is more than 4,789 years old. Its age was confirmed from core samples taken in 1957, which makes it one of the oldest known living non-clonal trees on Earth. That means it is not a colony like Pando. It is one individual tree that has stayed alive for thousands of years. Its exact location is kept secret to protect it from damage. Visitors can walk through the ancient bristlecone pine forest, but Methuselah itself is not marked. Number 2. Monkey Puzzle Tree. This tree looks like it came from a world where dinosaurs still walked. The monkey puzzle tree does not grow soft, leafy branches like most trees. Its branches come out in stiff layers, and they are covered with hard, sharp, scale-like leaves. From a distance, it looks neat and almost symmetrical. Up close, it looks armored. Even the name comes from that strange shape, because people once joked that climbing it would puzzle a monkey. Its real name is Araucaria araucana, and it grows naturally in Chile and Argentina, especially in mountain forests where the weather can be cold, wet, and harsh. It can grow into a tall evergreen tree, with a strong trunk and branches that make it look older than the world around it. The prehistoric look is not just a feeling. Fossils linked to monkey puzzle trees have been found in Jurassic rocks from around 200 million years ago, when dinosaurs still ruled the planet. That is why this tree feels less like a normal forest tree and more like a survivor from another age. Number 1. Boojum Tree. This tree looks like a giant upside-down carrot planted in the desert. The boojum tree rises from the dry ground like something that should not be real. It has a tall, narrow body, tiny side branches, and a strange pale shape that looks more like a desert sculpture than a normal tree. It does not spread into a wide canopy. It grows upward in one odd column with spiky branches sticking out from the sides. Its real name is Fucieria columnaris, but in Mexico it is also called cirio, which means candle. That name fits because many of them stand tall and thin across the desert like rough candles pushed into the sand. Boojums grow mainly in Baja California, with only a small natural population across the water in Sonora, Mexico. In the wild, many can grow more than 25 feet tall, and some rare giants can reach close to 80 feet. They grow slowly, which makes the biggest ones feel even more strange, because that weird shape took a long time to build. Some older boojums do not even stay straight. Wind and age can bend them, curve them, or make their top split into strange arms. Thanks for watching. Now check out the videos popping up on screen for more unbelievable stories.